Tell me your secrets!
Hello my friends, it is I, Neuron. Today I will talk about Poison Joke, the plant that was shown in Bridal Gossip. In this video, I will try to explain Poison Joke and the way it affects ponies. This is a science video, so I recommend having some prior knowledge on biology, though this is not a requirement, for I will explain everything simply. As you probably know, this is a kids show, so we don't exactly get a lot of scientific information on Equestria. So what is left to do is to use the power of logic and create one of the fandom most known thing, the headcanon. Now, I use the term headcanon to describe something that was made up, does not conflict with the show's canon, but doesn't get supported by it as well. The term theory, however, I use to describe something deduced from the show that does not only not conflict with it, but is supported by it. For example, a headcanon is saying that Pinkie is a psychotic murderer, while a theory is saying that it is possible that Pinkie suffers from a psychological disorder, while giving proper examples from the show. I will grade all of my science videos from 1 to 20, where 1 is the show's canon, 10 is your average headcanon, and 20 is the weirdest of crossover fanfics. On this scale, I give this theory 4 points. First, let's recap everything we know about Poison Joke. We know it is a blue flower. We know it grows in patches in the everfree forest. We know that it causes strange effects in ponies who gets exposed to it. And we know that those effects aren't random, for in Philly Vanilli we are shown that its effect could be harvested from its petals and used as a potion with the same effect. But there are some problems with this plant that confuse the ones thinking about it. The first problem is that it is shown that when the main 6 were exposed to the plant, they developed weird symptoms who looked like they were being matched to each of the pony's character. This implies that the Poison Joke must have some level of intelligence, right? It needs to think in order to match each effect to each pony. In other words, the plant needs to know what effects it does to everyone for the effect to be a joke. Everyone seems to think that by touching the plant with their legs, the main 6 got the poison into their bloodstream, and the poison chose where to go and what effect to do. If I am correct, then this assumption is wrong. Now, a few things on poison, bloodstreams, and the skin. The Poison Joke's poison is what called absorbed poison. It is a substance, chemical or natural, solid or liquid, that gets into the body through the skin. It gets absorbed into the skin and into the bloodstream, and it follows the bloodstream to the rest of the body. It takes about half an hour for a poison to get through a human skin, and seconds or minutes from the point it got into the bloodstream to its first effect. That is the way in humans, but I don't know about ponies. The one proof I could find that pony's skin is similar to humans, or at least that it is capable of absorbing materials, was shown by Rarity of all ponies. In Look Before You Sleep, Sonic Rainboom, and Green Isn't Your Color, Rarity and some of her friends use mud masks. The way mud mask works, though I'm not a professional in mud masks, is that nutritional and healthy minerals that are present in the mud get absorbed into the skin and help it look pretty. That is the reason that the mud is usually from places that are rich in salts and minerals like the Dead Sea. If we assume that the ponies are the one who invented the mud masks, then the mud mask must help their skin, and if it does, pony's skin must be able to absorb materials from the outside of the body. So if we agree that the skin and the bloodstreams are about the same in ponies and in humans, then not only the plant must have some intelligence, but the poison itself need to be intelligent to know where to go once inside the bloodstream. This is theoretically possible in the magical world of Equestria, but that is too unlikely and too far-fetched for my liking, because I do not know how magic works and I cannot rely on it on my theories. Not only that, the second problem is that ponies also have their coats and their hooves, and those should protect their skin from contacting the poison, So we also need to find out how they even got exposed to the poison in the first place, since their coat and their hooves should have protected their skin from the poison. Thirdly, an evolution problem. I love evolution problems. Anyway, the third problem with the poison joke is that it is too slow. A poison's purpose in the wild is to defend or to attack. The poison scene here is too slow for both roles. If we assume that the episode starts at 9 in the morning, then by the time the main six followed Zakora into the forest, we can assume it was about noon. But when Apple Bloom enters the forest, the sky is yellow, and it looks like the sun has just begun to set, so anything around 4 PM is also acceptable. The start of the next day is at 7 or 6 o'clock, for Twilight woke up at the rise of sun, as we can tell by the rooster call we heard when she woke up. This means that the poison took 16 to 20 hours to affect the ponies. This is way too long for the poison to serve any purpose, and no plant will evolve with such waste of resources. The point is that the poison is too slow to do anything, so there is no reason for the plant to create it. Granted, the poison may have developed to be lethal to other species, but what other species? It grows in the middle of the Everfree forest, where we saw no other unintelligent vegetarian life anywhere. Come to think about it, we haven't seen any unintelligent vegetarian life in all of Equestria. Ponies, cows, mules, and even bunnies. Almost all of the unintelligent life we've seen were carnivorous. Eat your vegetables, kids. Anyway, not only that, there is no reason that the poison will be less effective to ponies in specific, for ponies are obviously not native to the Everfree forest. All these problems lead me to the conclusion that the poison joke is in fact unpoisonous. That sounded way more dramatic than it should have, didn't it? Hold on a minute, you might say. If the poison joke is not poisonous, then what causes the weird symptoms? And why is the name of the plant Poison Joke? Well, it could be that the plant's name is from times where its effects were thought to be poison. Have any of you ever heard of a mushroom called Trumpet of Death? It is an edible and a very nutritional and healthy mushroom, yet it is called Trumpet of Death. My point is that the name of the plant doesn't always imply the correct things about it. The Trumpet of Death mushroom is dark and evil looking, so its name refers to its looks, not its actual effect. And about the symptoms, well, there are more things that causes the body to freak out other than poison. Since it is shown that no one got any physical trauma, the only remaining option is an inside dysfunction. Since I have ruled out poison, and there is no way all of them had a genetic disease that erupts in the same day, the most likely option left is germs. I think that the poison joke is a natural carrier of the germs causing those effects. It might even be more than one type of germ, but that is unlikely and irrelevant. A carrier means someone or something who carries the germs for a disease and not necessarily having its symptoms. The plants and the germ coexist. The plant keeps the germs alive, and the germs possibly do something back. But wait, you might say, if it's a disease, shouldn't the main six pass it on to someone? Not necessarily. If the germ is incapable of surviving in the air, then it would only be contagious by touch. In fact, we know it is not capable of surviving in the air, for if it could, then Apple Bloom and Zakora would have gotten sick too. But even if germs can only live in liquid, how did Spike not get sick when Pinkie sprayed him with her spit and her obviously sick tongue? Well, to start, Spike is a dragon, so he might be immune to the disease. Also, he has thick scales, and they can protect him from germs more effectively than pony's skin. Also, spit has chemicals that kill some germs, so it is possible that the spit itself wouldn't be contagious. Another sign in favor of the disease theory is Twilight's nightmares. If the disease already started to affect Twilight in the night before, then that could explain her nightmares. Even before disease symptoms show up, you usually start to feel weak and generally bad. This could cause nightmares, especially if something strange and important happened to you today that you cannot stop thinking about.
But wait, says that annoying voice again. How could you know that she couldn't stop thinking about it?
Well, she woke up the morning after, saw her messy mane, and immediately commented on Zakora. Would you think of something that happened to you yesterday as the first thing as you woke up? Most likely no, unless what happened yesterday had you troubled. And before you say anything, yes, I saw that Twilight used the magic to lift the brush. My only explanation to that is that the disease stops her horn from creating magic, but not stopping her from using it. Therefore, Twi would have a bit of magic left in her, and that could be the magic she used to lift the brush. Whatever that magic is, it looks different than her usual magic, and it seems to get weak very fast, as we can assume by the way the brush drops down. So in short, that magic is obviously not normal, so it could be a symptom of the disease. The disease theory could also explain how each of the main six got each of their symptoms. We can assume that the plant has a slimy liquid on it, and that could be the thing that keeps the germs alive and protects them from the air. That liquid could also be the thing that was mistaken for poison. If that liquid exists, then everyone apart from Applebloom and Zakora had that liquid on their feet, but on their coat, so it didn't touch their skin and affect them yet. With Pinkie, Twilight, and Rainbow, it's easy. Pinkie sang and danced everywhere, so a drop of the germ liquid could have easily landed on her tongue, explaining why her symptom was tongue swelling. Even if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised if Pinkie tried to taste the pretty blue flowers to see if they taste nice. She did dunk her head into a rainbow pool back in Sonic Rainbow, so it isn't too strange of a behavior from her. Rainbow Dash was flying between the flowers, and some of the liquid could have soaked into her wings, where it's a lot easier to reach the skin. That could explain why her symptom was out of control wings. Then, Rainbow poked Twilight's horn with her hoof, which had some of the germ liquid on it, and that is what caused Twilight's horn to get weird. Rainbow Dash is in fact the one who infected Twilight. I can easily think of explanations for the other three, but these are just guesses. All of them had their feet infected and possibly a few drops on their coat, and we can assume that everyone went home to rest after the event with Zakora. I am willing to bet that the first thing Rarity did when she got home was to groom herself, to remove any remains of the Everfree Forest from her coat, but by doing that, she spreaded the germs all over her body and helped them touch her skin, and that is the explanation for her symptom. Fluttershy, I'm guessing, accidentally inhaled some of the petals or the liquid, causing her to have symptoms of the voice.
I don't want to talk about it.
It also makes sense if you think of the pose Fluttershy usually stands in when afraid, with her head low. Also, her fear could have caused her to hyperventilate, increasing the speed of her breathing and the chances she breathed a leaf. Applejack is a bit of a problem, but I can guess her story as well. I'm guessing that what caused Applejack's symptom is her relationship with Applebloom. In her motherly big sister role, I can assume that Applejack had a lot of motherly hormones in her bloodstream because of worry for Applebloom. We know that there are some similarities between the human and pony hormonalic system, for in the Cutie Mark Chronicles episode, Rainbow mentions adrenaline while she is telling her story.
I've never flown like that before. That freedom was unlike anything I'd ever felt. The speed, the adrenaline, the wind in my mane.
By the way Rainbow speaks of adrenaline, we know it works about the same as humans. Therefore, it is likely that the rest of the hormone system works about the same as well. If we say that Applejack went home and worked on the farm, it is possible that she got cut from something, making her infection in the blood and from there to her entire body. Even if she didn't get cut, I have the feeling that Applejack's hygiene is probably the least good of the main six, with her living in the farm and whatnot. Her motherly hormones interacted with the germs, and that is why her symptom was shrinking. In short, Applejack's behavior to Applebloom is the thing that made her small, either by magic, or the intelligence of the germs, or the hormones Applejack had in her bloodstream past the experience with the Cora. Her symptom was in all of her body, not a specific part like the rest of the main 6. So unless she went back to the poison joke patch and smeared them all over herself, there is something different with her infection. The method of infection itself is unimportant in Applejack's case, because she had many chances to get sick simply by her way of life. Lastly, you might ask, even if they did only have the germ liquid on their hooves, shouldn't they still have infected some pony? Well, I would expect that, since hooves are the equivalent of hands in Equestria, but they didn't. So the germ's effectiveness must wear off when they're not on the plant, because apparently it's the thing that keeps them alive. Something worth mentioning is that in Leap of Faith we aren't told that microbiology and germs in specific are canon. The reason no one discovered that the poison joke is not poisonous but a carrier is that no one well informed enough with microbiology ever went into the forest. It is a very strange and wild place after all. In Philly Vanilli there are no problems with this theory as well. There is even one thing that can be seen as a clue. That is Akora's words choice as she said, "I can make another brew having the same effect on you." The word brew suggests something to drink, and it makes sense considering the vocal cords are in the throat area, but that is open to interpretation and so not a real clue. Another thing is the treatment for the poison joke. It also assists the disease theory. First, the method of which the cure was made. The cure was cooked, brewed, unlike the way antivenoms are made. Antivenoms are made from other animals' antibodies, usually horses. The horse is injected with a bit of venom, and his immune system begins to create antibodies against that venom. Then you take some of the horse's blood and separate only the antibodies. The antibodies are then sterilized, and that is the antivenom. The whole point of antivenoms is that they are antibodies against the poison that our body can't create fast enough or can't create at all. The problem with that is that this is both too advanced for the Kora's brewing skill and not what she did to create the cure in the first place. The second problem is the temperature of the cure. Though in Bridal Gossip the water in the spa are not hot enough for us to see, the water in Fluttershy's bathroom in Philly Vanilli were steaming. This could be excused, as Fluttershy could have bathed in the cure and then take a hot shower, but that is very unlikely. Even so, you cannot dismiss the cauldron of the cure Zakora brewed up in her hut, for it was boiling hot as well. The cure has been in a hot temperature at some point. The problem with that is that antibodies are proteins. Proteins get de-shaped and destroyed in a hot temperature. Therefore, the remedy is not protein-based, therefore it is not antibodies. If it's not antibodies, there is no way the cure could have cured the main 6 so fast, assuming what caused the symptoms was poison. What the cure is probably some natural remedy that helps and activates the immune system. Natural remedies are mostly based on trial and error and the placebo effect. If you didn't know, the placebo effect is a psychological phenomenon in which believing that you will get better will make you actually heal faster. It's the same effect that plays in Leap of Faith, allowing Granny Smith to swim. Trial and error means that in olden times doctors didn't know for sure how medicine works, so they tried different random things in the hope they will help. If the patient got better, the doctor thought the medicine works and continued using it. This is why some natural remedies actually have medicine power and others are just random ineffective stuff. Both of these are at work in the bubble bath thing that Cora gave to the main 6. Some of the herbs in the bath might have some chemicals activating the immune system and helping fight the disease, while believing that the bath would help cured them faster as well. The speed of the cure seemed a bit fast, but there is no way of knowing for sure, or there is no time reference to say how fast the curing actually was. But then there's this scene where Pinkie jumps in the pool. This is a problem. This instant cure is a big problem. This is not even a Deus Ex Machina or magic or friendship or something like that. This is the equivalent of the insta-shrink scene of Spike in Secret of My Excess. You see, fillies and gentle colts, There is no way this is possible in the medicine world we know. No matter how fast and how effective the cure is, it needs to get into the body, and getting it into the body takes at least a minute. Not only that, but even after you have cured whatever needed curing, the body still needs a bit of time to get back to a normal behavior, and that takes at least 3 minutes. This scene that Pinkie seemingly insta-cured in contradicts the medicine world known to humans, so there must be something fishy with this scene, or I must ignore this detail. Even if we only miss 2 minutes of Pinkie, that would fix everything, for the tongue has a lot of blood vessels under it, and medicine is easily absorbed to the bloodstream through it. I could say that there are 2 different shots here who doesn't directly follow since we don't see Pinkie actually rise from her jump, but that is not a good answer. Another explanation is that Pinkie was in the water and then got out to jump in again. This fits Pinkie but isn't proven in any way. The third possibility is that the blue spots on Pinkie's tongue are germ colonies, similarly to streptococcus, a germ that causes throat disease and makes white spots appear in the throat. If the cure is fast and the blue spots are colonies, then when Pinkie jumped into the pool, the force of heating the water combined with the cure could have made the blue spots disappear almost instantly, but not finishing curing the disease. The blow those colonies got from the water made them burst into the pool, something unpleasant and quite disgusting, but logical. Heck, maybe she got cured, the medicine was gross, so she went and ate a blue cupcake or something. At this point, I'm willing to consider anything just to find logic in this mess. The point is that no matter what the poison joke did, there is no way it could be instantly cured, unless with magic or unknown biology. So if we can't find an answer, there's really no point in thinking about it any longer, for we know nothing on magic or equestrian biology. Luckily, we do have a few answers, but the most likely possibility that works, of course, is that the blue spots disappeared instantly, but the disease was cured a bit after that. Even though this is not proven in any way, this is the best option we got. And finally, how could a germ affect all those ponies in such different ways? Well, every germ is different. There's really no reason to give an explanation of how the germ causes each of these symptoms, nor why, for this will mean I shall dive into complex medical and biological knowledge that is too long and unimportant for this video. So on that note, I think I pretty much covered it. The poison joke is more likely to be a carrier of a disease than poisonous, and that could explain a lot of the problem with its existence. If you think I made any mistakes or you wish to add something to this theory, you are more than welcome to post a comment. If you have any ideas on other stuff I should research about, post that in the comments as well. Hopefully I fixed the poison joke, so it won't bother anyone anymore. Unless you didn't care about the poison joke to begin with, in which case I didn't help you at all. I hope I did justice to this fascinating blue flower. So until the next video, I'm Neuron. Goodbye everyone.